What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 25 of the War Room podcast. My name is Rob. It's my friend Andy here. How you doing, fella?
Not too bad. 25, we made it.
Dude,
Halfway to 50. Halfway to 50.
quarter way to hundo.
It's fantastic. And at this rate, we'll have about like 17 listeners by then.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Pace ourselves.
We'll get there. We're too personable. We'll get there. You know, it's just taking a little bit longer than expected. That's all.
I mean, we haven't really done crazy rants. Like, none of us have gone off the complete deep end. We do as soon as things happen, like during games, right after games, and we don't record it. We have to wait, and then we calm down, and life calms us down. But
that's true.
It's what it is.
Well, when the Raiders trade Derek Carr for a seventh, I'll record my reaction. How about that?
Absolutely. I can take whatever you record, and I'll find a way to get it onto one of these podcasts.
Perfect. Well, speaking of going off on the deep end, how about Tom Brady after he has 3 Miller Lights, huh?
Dude, that avocado tequila just gets him lit.
Oh man, that's what happens when you have like a diet of spinach leaves.
That's fantastic. But I love the memes that I was seeing that it's like, hey Cowboys fans, Tom Brady's daughter has held more trophies than you guys have, or something like that. And it's like, and I'm one to laugh. I mean, like, the Bills haven't held a trophy yet, so, but yeah, still too funny.
It wasn't the most action-packed Super Bowl, but you know, it kind of in my world anyway, it kind of brought me down a little bit, and I was kind of starting to think that a high-powered offense, with the way the rules are made nowadays, you don't necessarily need a top-tier defense, but it looks like defenses still win championships.
It does, and it's just amazing that when you play the Kansas City Chiefs, if you have someone chip Kelsey right off the line and you double Tyreek Hill and then you get after the quarterback. Well,
the big thing is no blitzing. That's a big thing.
It's just amazing to see that they got after the quarterback. They chipped Kelsey so that he couldn't do anything. And then they doubled Hill. And it was a no questions asked game. Like, they killed him. And then afterwards, Mahomes' boo goes off on everybody.
Yeah, she's annoying, huh?
Someone's got to get rid of her Twitter. Like, I understand that Pat Mahomes is fantastic and that he's young and Tom Brady's older, and by the time Mahomes is done, he could be around that. Like, at the same time, Tom Brady has always taken a smaller contract deal, and Pat Mahomes took the richest deal in NFL history. So, I don't know, girl. Maybe look up your stats a little bit and see if it can actually work out for him, because Kansas City's going to be in a tough spot soon.
I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine.
Who knows? Another tough spot. How about those Houston Texans, huh?
Oof. Man. So, landing spot for Watt. We both want him, let's be honest.
I'll buy his jersey as soon as he gets to the Bills, if he gets to the Bills.
He's exactly what Vegas needs. Exactly. A veteran presence that's going to hold players accountable, and we can move them inside and actually have an interior pass rush. I'd be thrilled with that. We're also both in agreement that he's going to sign with Pittsburgh, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah. You saw what his brother tweeted, right?
Oh, yeah, The Rock.
Yeah, fantastic. Good job by him. I mean, if you're his parents, do you fight him? Do you basically be like, hey, we won't love you anymore unless you go play with your brother?
No, ground him.
Like the Subway commercials?
He's grounded.
It's the Subway commercials.
You're grounded. Yeah, same thing. Same deal.
But
it's going to happen. But they had to do it. I mean, Rappaport said that they would be able to get a pick for it. Decent pick, I think was his terms. If I were Indy, I would have traded for him.
Sure.
But that contract was rough, but then just extend it and restructure. That's what I would have done if I were Indy, because they're, in win now mode, and at the same time they have the funds. So just my opinion. But and the Stafford trade.
Yeah, I mean, that's what scares me. I mean, we talked about the Watson trade and how many first round picks it would be. I mean, I don't know if we've been alive the last time. I mean, we might have been like 3 years old the last time the Rams had a first round pick. Like, that's how crazy it seems. It's not. I mean, that's over dramatic.
And who was that first round pick?
I don't know. They were in St. Louis. We have no idea.
Jared Goff.
Yeah. Crazy. That's so nuts.
It really is. I mean, it's still, you kind of can't compare the two deals though, because part of me thinks the only reason they got that second first round pick is to take Goff's contract essentially.
Oh, for sure.
So it's a little bit tough to gauge, but I mean, Detroit should be excited,
Agreed.
The Rams should be excited. It's good for both sides. Yeah, it was a good deal. It was definitely a good deal.
I agree, and I'm sick of people. I know Goff's deal, his contract isn't the greatest in the world, but I'm sick of people trashing him as a player. I mean, he's brought them to the playoffs. He's done a great job as a starting quarterback in the league. Like, I think he's fine. He's exactly what they need right now. The Lions are in rebuild. They got to rebuild, and he can be the quarterback that you can do that until you either one, suck miserably, or two, he pans out great, and then your cap space frees up in the next couple of years, and then you're fine.
Yeah, in 2 years, that contract's an easy out.
Yeah, so
that makes sense. Makes sense.
It's not bad, but hey.
So last week we talked about quarterbacks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now we got all current events out of the way since there's nothing else fun going on.
Yeah. So we're gonna dive into running backs this week. Want to get it out there. Me personally, I'm a Najee Harris running back one guy.
Mm-hmm.
You probably disagree because I'm from Alabama.
Mm-hmm. And he's picked to go to Buffalo, so that's going to be great for me.
But as 12 of you that watch know this, we don't really like talking about the top part of the draft too much. So we got some mid-round guys, some sleepers that we want to really talk about. Going off the draft boards, like I was going to talk about Trey Sermon because I like him a lot. I want to kind of go a little bit deeper than that. So let's. You want to start it off? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I could start. Well, how about let's start it off together? What's one guy that we didn't put on our list because we both? I mean, one I probably said I was going to because I 100% should have. But
you were going to. But I also said I was going to put Trey Sermon on mine. I didn't. So
yeah. So who's the boy I'm talking about? Who's the guy that we both wanted to put on our list that we didn't?
Well, representing Dino Barbecue itself, Jarrett Patterson.
Stud.
Love him.
He's not going to be great at the next level, I don't think. I mean, he played in the MAC. No disrespect to the MAC. His stats were ridiculous. Imagine if he had a full season. Like,
something that I one thing I actually agree with John Gruden on. When I look at running backs, I want running backs that can do everything. I want them to be able to have vision. I want them to be able to catch out of the backfield. I want them to be able to already know how to pass block because there are so many instances in the NFL where when trying to be taught how to pass block, it's just not there. That's something you have to learn early, in my opinion, because so much of it is footwork based and reading defenses, and it just doesn't happen very well for players that don't know how to do that until they get in the NFL. A lot of them just end up going their whole career without knowing how to do that. Catching out of the backfield, like I think I said, he's just that guy. He can do everything. He literally does everything.
It's insane.
It really is. It truly is. His footwork is ridiculous. I'll be honest with you, man. I think he is going to be successful at the next level. I really do.
I hope so.
I'm not going to sit here and say because of the talent that he played against, because he went to Buffalo. I'm not going to say that because I can think of a couple of Buffalo guys, one in particular that's done pretty well in the NFL. And we're not scouting the helmet. We're scouting the player. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, just listen to this stat line. Just listen to these stat lines. So 2018, he had 1,000 rushing yards and 62 receiving yards. 2019, 1,799 rushing yards, 209 receiving yards. This year in COVID, with 7 less games, he had 1,072 rushing yards. Like, insane. Like 7 less games.
How many carries?
It's sickening. I mean, he had 141 attempts compared to the year before where he was 312. He was averaging 7.6 yards a touch. He had 19 touchdowns. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, he didn't catch the ball out of the backfield. Not one pass did he catch out of the backfield because why throw him the ball when every time you hand it to him, they'd basically have a first down. It was a first down.
Unbelievable. Holy Christ.
So,
oh, good for him. He's someone that's absolutely going to make it, in my opinion. I think he's going to be very good. I really do.
Yeah. So that gets that out of the way. Now we can jump into who we talk about. So, I mean, my first one off the board, Demetric Felton. So I'm definitely butchering his first name, but And people are going to look at me like, why are you listing him as running back? Like he's listed as wide receiver. Well, that's because at UCLA, he was listed as a running back. And that's exactly how I would use him in my style of offense. Not the biggest guy. So he's basically a 5'9", 186-pound Swiss Army knife. So the reason why I think he could be extremely beneficial for a team is that his speed is in that 4.4, 4.5 range. And he lines up a lot out in the slot. So that's a matchup nightmare. If you put him in the backfield in any particular offense, comparison is Gibson for basically Washington. It's if you put him in the backfield, you line everybody up, and it's a man scheme that you're playing against, and you motion him out, you're going to have him against a linebacker every single time unless they drop down a safety. If they drop down a safety and you have a team that can pull the top off basically any defense, you're going to take advantage of them every single time. So that's one of the players that I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see him run the 40. I'm excited to see him do more and line up at running back. I'm excited to see if teams are absolutely going to be like, no, look, you're 100% going to be a wide receiver, because I think that's a huge miss. That's a huge miss. He gets lost behind the line of scrimmage. So he's a huge threat. And I think he'll be a great NFL player.
I agree with that. I agree. Kind of lazy, but as far as a team crush for him, Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah. Because they're the amount of free agents they're going to lose yet.
I don't know that they will, but Brady loves those type of players, man. Loves them. You know, look at what James White's done in New England. It's a very similar type deal. Like, he's a lot more dynamic than James White is. And I do think he's going to be utilized a lot more at receiver, but he's kind of the opposite of what Gibson from Memphis went through last year, you know, transitioning from receiver to running back, which I still think is unbelievable that he did that with 33 carries his whole college career. But no, I like him. That's good work. First one I'm going to start with is Stevie Scott from Indiana. So he was actually recruited by most schools as a linebacker. Dude is crazy physical. The coaches actually had to like teach him finesse and like how to move, because he was just running people over. Like the physicality shows up on pass blocking reps too. Like, love him. He actually went to Indiana because the running back coach, Mike Hart, grew up a mile away from him. Dude, he's awesome. I really like him a lot. He can catch out of the backfield. Second team All Big Ten, Maxwell Award. He was on the watch list for that. Like, dude's awesome. Really good. He had a rough game against, I think it was Ohio State. But their line just got blown up in that game. And he still had a couple receptions out of the backfield too. But he really impressed me a lot. But that was a rough game. His game against Maryland was one of them that I watched, was pretty good. It was kind of a down week in college football, obviously in the Big Ten that week, because he actually won Player of the Week in that game, and he only had 80 yards rushing. Mm-hmm. So a ton of upside. He'll leave it all on the field. Big Stevie Scott fan.
Yeah, I mean, any upstate New Yorker, minus the high school that he went to, because everybody that went to my high school hated that high school, CBA. So completely, I mean, I loved watching his tape. I mean, he's a big bruising running back, a no-nonsense type guy. He's not a guy that's going to be doing a bunch of side steps and shuffles.
Yep.
The line of scrimmage. He sees the hole, he hits the hole, and he goes. The one thing that concerns me, but again, it's an old term that everybody always talks about with him, is he's an upright runner. And what everybody talks about with running backs, he's an upright runner. But being an upright runner doesn't mean that he's not going to pan out. I mean, there's a guy that's still in the league by the name of Adrian Peterson, who is the most upright runner anybody has ever seen. And he has that type of style. So absolutely love him. I definitely think he can be utilized more in the passing attack, but he is a big kid, and he can 100%. I didn't see much blocking out of him, but I would love to see more of it. But he can 100% take a beating.
He's physical. He's very physical. You could tell he's just a fighter, man. You can just tell. He really is. All the running backs I'm going to mention too. A huge pet peeve of mine is body catching. Hate it. Big pet peeve of mine. They all catch with their hands. I love it. That is such a big deal to me. I despise body catchers. Hate it. He's very good at that. Very good at that.
Yeah, so I think that the next one that we're going to talk about, or at least that I'm going to bring up, is the autocorrect favorite. And what I mean by an autocorrect favorite is that anytime you try to type this guy's name to anybody, it just autocorrects. So it's Puka Williams. So Puka Williams is out of Kansas. First of all, I just want to apologize to him for going to Kansas. He could have had such a better career if he didn't go to Kansas, because for those of you that don't know, Kansas was rivaling Rutgers at one point in time as the worst college football program in the world. And they don't look like they're getting better. They got a great coach in Les Miles, but he may be like the Joe Pa stage of his career where his headset's not plugged in and he's just walking around with no pants on. So he ended up opting out during his senior campaign. He only played in 4 games, and he basically was just like, man, I'm going to get my ass kicked, so I got to get out of here, which I partially don't agree with, but at the same time, I completely understand. I mean, freshman and sophomore year, he's a 1,000-yard rushing, 200-yard receiving plus guy. He shows patience in his running style. I don't know if he's super fast, but the word that I'll use with him is he's got an amazing twitch to him, where when he's going up against somebody, I don't know if he's going to outrun them, but he's going to outsmart them. So if someone's coming at him with the wrong angle, he's 100% going to take that quick twitch and make that guy miss. So theme with my guys that I'm looking at is just basically those guys that can be home run hitters. And that's what I'm looking for this position. So he definitely has to show more in the blocking game. But then again, I mean, everybody on Kansas needed to show more in the blocking game, catching game, passing game, receiving game, defensive game. Special teams unit as well. So, I mean, you can't fault him on that.
Have you ever had the chance to see his stat line from his senior year in high school?
It was something ridiculous. Like he was nuts.
I pulled it up because this is always a fun thing to talk about when talking about Puka for me. 3,118 rushing yards his senior year of high school, 37 touchdowns.
It's like the fact that Kansas got him. I remember when he committed to Kansas, and I was like, what the heck? I was like, Kansas is going to turn this around. Like, Kansas is going to be a good program. He's got no help since he's been there. 0 help.
He is a competitive dude.
Oh, yeah.
He fights, man. He fights a lot. And I actually kind of feel bad because he weighs like 175 soaking wet.
Yep.
So go back to pass blocking again. He tries. He really does. His footwork is there. His pad level's there. You know, he can diagnose the blocks. He really does try. Diagnose the blitzes. But man, he gets thrown around in the backfield. He really does. And it's not his – they need to figure out something there. And that's the only reason why I don't think he's going to be that guy. I think he's a kind of a committee guy, and like you said, a special teams guy. Very talented player, though. I just, I wish he was a little bit heavier.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Love Puka. Sorry, love looks.
Yeah, looks. Now, who do you got?
So my next one, adding to the list of players with complicated names this year, because there seem to be a lot. I'm going Vavae Malepeai, and I got that right. I'm excited about that.
That's good.
USC guy. So he's actually the leading rusher. We'll go back to some more high school stats. I like this. He's the leading rusher in Hawaii high school football history.
I like that.
So what I like about him, go listen to some interviews that he's done. You would think if you didn't have video on, he's like a 50-year-old man. He is incredibly mature. His parents were incredibly strict on him growing up. His younger brother has autism. He just gets life. He really does. He got his bachelor's early, so he's already working on his master's degree. He's just a really good dude. But man, on the football field, he's physical as hell. He is so physical. Dude runs low to the ground. Again, can catch out of the backfield with these things. They're called hands. Love it. Dude never goes down on first contact, ever. You need at least 2 to 3 people to touch him to get him down. It's awesome to watch. I think this year might have been last. I'm trying to think of when it was, which game it was. I don't remember which game it was. Man, he just he welcomes contact. He loves football. He welcomes it. he had 1,265 yards on 247 carries, 5.1 per carry. Also caught 33 passes, and also a special teams guy. He's one, man. I wouldn't be surprised. Him and my last one too. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy has a long career. I really wouldn't. He's physical, but at the same time, he's not stupid with it. If that makes any sense. He's not going head first. He's not, taking unnecessary hits. He welcomes it, but he's not taking unnecessary hits. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a long career. I really wouldn't. That's
Yeah,
who I'm going for. I like him a lot.
yeah, no, I mean he's definitely he's like a bowling ball. He's not that tall. He's not that big. I mean he's relatively big for a running back. I think he's like 6 foot, but he's a 220-ish plus guy who can do it all. That's what you said. I mean the thing that concerns me with him is every single snap that USC takes is out of shotgun. So I would love to see his footwork and his ability to basically diagnose the line from standing behind the quarterback, because things get a little bit different when you're standing on the right side of a quarterback and the quarterback hands you the ball. It's a little bit different than receiving it from the quarterback who's turning around and handing it to him. So it's nothing knock on him. It's just he's never been asked it, and he may have been doing that in high school his entire time. That's what I would be interested to see, and I would be interested to see his route running improve a little bit more. Where he's a great. I mean, once he gets the ball in open space, good luck. I mean, good luck trying to figure him out. But yeah, I mean, every running back needs to get better at route running. But him at USC, it was just very simple tree. Everything was out in the flat.
Limited experience of seeing Hawaii high school football, I'm going to say that he did not see a lot of that. I mean, it was probably very similar to what USC had going on this year. But, and I agree with you 110%. But at the same time, there's a lot of teams in the NFL that do that for the majority of it now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it. Really,
Buffalo's one of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, man, plus at the same time, it's not the most difficult thing to pick up. Think about it, because you also have some like steam built up. You know what I mean? You're a couple yards behind the quarterback and get a little bit more built up there. No, I agree. I agree with you, but at the same time, I don't know how much of an obstacle that would be, because you see so much of it in the NFL now anyway.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. And my last one that I got is from Running Back U, and I'll call it Running Back U because every year it seems like they have running backs that everybody's talking about. I mean, they may not be the greatest running backs, but they're always, in my eyes, and I know in your eyes, they're always the most entertaining to watch. And it's always amazing to think, like, man, it reminds me of when, what was it, Arkansas had all those running backs at one time.
Yeah, that was McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis.
Yeah, so it reminds me of that. Not saying that these guys are that caliber, but it's just unique to see that they keep churning them out. But Kenny Gainwell from Memphis, I mean, this guy, when you talk about speed, he's got it. He may be the fastest running back that this draft has outside of the top tier guys. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the top tier guys, but he has 4.4 speed, blazing speed. I mean, 1,400 plus rushing yards. And the best thing about him is 610 receiving yards. Memphis is a team that airs it out. So I get it that his stats are going to be a little bit inflated, but 610 receiving yards, you know what that tells me? Guy's got great hands. That's what you want in a running back. That's what you want. That's going to come out there. So he's an underclassman. He didn't have too much time to develop. So I think COVID's hurting him a little bit. So he doesn't have as much playing experience in big time games as he would like. But I mean, he's got all the tangibles. And watching him just diagnose the line and which way the play is supposed to go, he's fantastic. And his lateral speed is ridiculous. It's something to watch when he gets in and he can change and take 2-3 steps to the left or 2-3 steps to the right. He doesn't lose any speed, and he keeps up that 4.4 speed, and his playing speed I think is even quicker than that. So he's my guy.
Could you see well, let's veer for a little bit. Could you see Memphis's coach potentially being one of those guys, Ryan Silverfield, by the way, one of those under the radar guys that could potentially get an offense, like an NFL gig at some point, but the way that offense is going?
Yes.
Like 3 or 4 years from now, would that surprise you? Because that offense is so dynamic, man.
No, it definitely wouldn't surprise me. I could definitely see him sooner rather than later going to a bigger school. No disrespect to Memphis, but like a Power 5 school. I could definitely see that happening, maybe even after this coming season.
Yeah, I love the way they utilize their running backs, and not to bring up Gibson again from last year, but man, they turn these guys into Swiss Army knives. You know what I mean? It's awesome. And one thing I like about Gainwell too, and sorry to keep bringing this up, but when I was kind of researching these guys a little bit, he was a high school quarterback.
Yeah.
And a lot of the coaches say that his ability to read defenses is because of the fact that he was a quarterback in the past. Great vision. I really like Gainwell a lot, man. He is fast. You're right. He's fast as hell. He's really fast. I just, I echo everything you said. Like the notes I have down are pretty much exactly what you said. You can use him all over the field. He's somebody that I do think has the ability to become a starter quick, in my opinion. And it's because of guys like him where maybe you don't go out and draft, Etienne or Harris or Javonte Williams that high because someone like him could be there in round 3, potentially.
Yep.
I think after the workouts and stuff, maybe not. He might actually go high around, towards the back end of round 2. But man, he's going to be valuable for somebody on that rookie deal for a long time, 4 years. But
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is my guys mostly I went with guys that can be used in multi-purpose, where it's not just a running back or he's not valued too high where he is just going to be a running back. All the guys that I looked at were guys that can be core special teamers as well. And that's huge in a rookie deal and a mid-round deal, is because if you're going to make a team from a mid-round guy, either you're going to, one, start at your position and be super valuable, but also 90% of them start at their position and super valuable and play special teams, because the way the cap space is set up nowadays, you can't just get special teams guys. The day of a special teamer, just a special teamer, is being close to being dead. Because the amount of money that they are going to need to require, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for teams. So yeah, those are my guys for this running back thing. You bring it on home. Give us your last guy.
Well, first off, into your special teams comment, that excites me that's almost dead, because the Raiders have 6 of them because Gruden's obsessed with it. So that's exciting to know that we're going to have 6 new roster spots opening up. So thank you for that.
It's working out well for you guys, right?
Oh, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Kyle Wilbur. Anyway, not a sponsor of this show. So every player in the NFL has a certain trait that makes them special, in my opinion. Alvin Kamara has something that I call Kamara feet.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say I call it that, this is the first time I've ever actually called it that, but I actually look for it because it's rare. And by that, I mean, if you watch him run, okay, he doesn't look like he's moving that fast. His legs aren't really churning much, but he's just going, dude. His legs he looks like he's jogging, but his body is going 4-4. And I don't see anyone else like that. It's rare, okay? And again, now I'm not going to, this guy I'm about to say, I'm not saying he's Alvin Kamara. I'm saying he has Kamara feet.
I was about to say that's a bad comparison if you're comparing these two.
No. His feet, just his feet. Okay, that's it. That is it. Chris Evans, Michigan. All right. I love this dude. Love him. So I know what people are thinking. Okay, he got kicked off the team for academic purposes.
He's got Bengal written all over him.
He wasn't failing. He was on pace to graduate. And not to mention, this dude didn't go sulk in the corner. He went out and he got 3 jobs. He was doing dishes, he was delivering food, and he was painting houses. All right. Dude came back. He's, again, a Swiss Army knife, man. He has Kamara feet. He looks like he's jogging, and he's running fast as hell. All right. Love me some Chris Evans. He's a little older. He's 24. I get it. Man, he has some speed. Phenomenal catcher out of the backfield. Phenomenal. I would argue that aside, maybe not. I'm going to go, he's a top 3 pass catcher out of the backfield in this draft.
That's aggressive.
It is, but that's my opinion. I think, and that's just pass catching out of the backfield. Man, if I'm a team in round 5, 6, I don't know if it'll last this long, but 7, man, and you need just that third down guy. Go and watch his game against Minnesota his sophomore year. Jesus Christ, man. 2 60-plus yard touchdowns. Like, he lit him up for like 191 yards or something like that. He's awesome. Very good player. Very good. Again, loves the game. Loves it. He not the best pass blocker. but he puts in the work. He'll get there with him. He knows the basics, which is the toughest part to learn. I just love it. Every time that dude touches a ball, he can take it to the house.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing that I saw from him is he's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people at running back look like. I mean, it's funny because not to take any away from Scott, who you talked about earlier, he's not as like he's a bruiser. He's a guy that's going to run you over. There's no finesse. I mean, again, there is some finesse, but my what I'm getting at is basically like he makes it look effortless the way that he plays the running back position. The thing that with him and his freak athletic ability is there was one play, and I don't remember what team that I was watching when I was watching film, is he caught the ball out of the backfield, stopped, jumped over a tackler, and then like continued. Like it was insane. Like he basically went from a standstill to a complete like I don't know, 5-foot vert, like, and then just ran. And it was amazing to see. I mean, he's a bigger back. He's 5'11, 220, which is fantastic for taking a punishment on third down and getting what you need. The scariest thing for me with him is he can definitely catch the ball. He has great hands. It's can he get out in space and can a quarterback see him? That's what worries me. He doesn't have breakaway speed, so it's not like he's gonna fool anybody in the way in which linebackers are going nowadays. Linebackers are fast. So he's got to be schemed up. He just has to go to the right team. He has to go to the right team that's going to utilize him correctly in the pass game and hide him correctly in the pass game. Because once he gets the ball, yeah, I mean, he's an absolute freak, and good luck trying to tackle him with one person.
I'm going to disagree with you.
You can.
In regards to your speed comment, I think he has more than enough speed, and I definitely think he can create separation.
I mean, we'll see. I think he was a combine invite. The combine that is happening may not be happening. Who the hell knows?
He'll get a workout somewhere.
Yeah, he'll definitely get a workout somewhere. But no, I mean, that basically breaks down our top 7 sleeper running backs for this week. So, yeah, I mean, anybody let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree, disagree. Would love to argue with you. Would love to tell you that I'm right and you're wrong. So please let me know. And you guys can follow along with us on our social channels. So on Twitter and Instagram, it's at @the_warroom33.
And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, tell us some things you want us to talk about, throw in some opinions. You guys got any sleepers too? Feel free, be heard, definitely. But definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next week, guys.
Later.